Hi, I'm Jonathan Goldman.
Hi, and I'm Andi Goldman, and we would love to welcome you to this global guided humming experience. And before we have this experience, we'd like to talk a little bit about the hows and the whys of sound. Why is it such a powerful tool for healing and how we can use sound? And in this particular experience, we will be focusing on humming. And these sounds will be encoded with healing personally and also for our planet.
So, before we indeed get into the actual meditation and the sounding experience, we want to talk a little bit about sound and particularly about humming, but first about sound. So, there are two major ways that sound affects us. The first is called psychoacoustics. That's where the sound goes into our ears, into our brain, affects our nervous system, our heart rate, our respiration, our brain waves. And this is very powerful. This is when we are listening to sound, whether it's music or the sound of our own voice in conversation, we are being affected on a psychoacoustic level. The other way is something that a lot of people don't really think about, and that's called vibroacoustics. That's where sound goes into our body, affecting us on a cellular level, going down to our molecules and our DNA, creating shift and change. And that's extraordinarily powerful too. And we have been investigating using sound for healing for so many years. We've worked with all sorts of different sounds, and we found that the most powerful vibroacoustic sound is that of the hum.
And in fact, Jonathan and I looked at each other and we said, we have got to bring sound out to more and more people. But so many people become judgmental about their
Yeah.
voice, or they think, I'm not a musician, I'm not a singer. But we wanted to sort of get rid of those myths, because if you have a voice, you can work with sound as a healing modality. And we then went, aha, what is the one sound that everybody can make? The sound that people will not judge themselves about. And we looked at each other and we just went,
Hmm.
perhaps we should delve deeply into the subject of humming. And that we have been doing and have just found so many powerful benefits of humming.
But before we get into the benefits of humming, I just realized there's something I wanted to tell you, and that is the power of intentionality.
Yes.
Because intention is part of the phenomena of why sound affects us. Years and years ago, back in the 1980s, I came up with a formula I'd like to share with you. That's frequency plus intent equals healing. That means the vibrations, the sound, plus the energy, the consciousness that we put into the sound really creates the effect, the outcome. And for us, we work with healing, and that is therefore healing. And this is so important. Nowadays, people are really becoming more and more aware of our beliefs and the power of our consciousness to affect things. So we wanted to share that with you. Because whether you are making a sound or receiving a sound, even when you're involved in conversation, be aware of the consciousness that you're encoding upon that conversation, because we all pick it up and receive it. Now, back to the physiological benefits of sound. Andi.
Well, when we are humming, and once again, I want to just reiterate, frequency plus intent equals healing. Because when we're humming, when we're making sound, we want to keep our frequency as high as possible. And that we do with encoding our sounds with positive energy, with energies of love and compassion, loving kindness, gratitude, all of those beautiful, beautiful feelings of higher frequency.
In fact, a dear friend of ours, Sarah Benson, one time said to us that the true sound of healing is love.
And
And
and Sarah was, of course, both of our mentors, and we have embraced that teaching. The true sound of healing is love.
So it's so wonderful to encode on any sound that you make. Okay, what does humming do? And the reason we came up with these, if you like, physiological benefits is simply so that people would begin to take the subject of humming seriously and check it out.
And we like to call it, of course, conscious humming. But when we are consciously humming, so many things are happening in our body. Our blood pressure is lowered. Our heart rate is lowered. Melatonin is released. And nitric oxide, which is a molecule which has antiviral properties.
And it's also a vasodilator. So that's very, very amazing. What else?
Jonathan, one of the most important hormones that is released when we hum is oxytocin.
Oxytocin, all right.
And oxytocin is the trust hormone. And so when we are humming, we are opening ourselves up to that feeling of connectedness and belonging, because there's an element of trust, whether we're humming by ourselves or with a group of people. When that oxytocin is emitted, oh, we just feel good.
And we get, of course, lowered heart rate and respiration. So just even by taking some deep breaths and humming, you get a reduction of your blood pressure to really almost pharmaceutical levels. So it's very, very wonderful. And you also get increased heart rate variability and also get the release of endorphins, those wonderful, if you like, natural opiates of the body. So the use of humming is phenomenal, particularly dependent upon the intention that you put on it when you're doing conscious humming.
And one of the other elements of humming that is important is breath, our breathing. And when we are working with sound, we want to make sure that we're breathing from deep down in our belly, that diaphragmatic breathing. And we take those deep breaths, and our bodies begin to feel a sense of relaxing. And then our bodies support our sound. Now, the guided meditation, the experience that we are about to have, we want to talk about heart-brain coherence, because breathing is a big part of that, as is those beautiful positive qualities we were talking about. And we want our heart and our brain to be in sync, basically.
Why? Because when your heart and your brain are in sync, well, first of all, your heart and your brain both put out electromagnetic fields, but when they're synchronized, when they're in coherence, when they're resonating together, the electromagnetic field is amplified 50 to 500 to some perceive of even 5,000 times greater. So our electromagnetic field is much, much greater. And then when we add the energy of sound, the element of sound, we get an even greater enhanced electromagnetic field. And just think about it, the different prayers on our planet are vocalized. They're whispered, chanted, sung, spoken, but they're vocalized, and that's because sound amplifies the power of our prayers and our meditations. It's that simple, but that profound.
And soon we are going to be immersed in a beautiful humming guided meditation and experience. And this will be about 15 minutes. And we want to talk about it before we do it. It's divided into about 3 parts. And the first part, I will be guiding everyone through a heart-brain coherence breathing experience. So you'll be guided each step of the way. And then Jonathan
will be leading you in a humming experience. And remember that we are doing this humming experience for personal healing, but also for planetary healing, so that we can project our amplified energy, our consciousness, our loving, light-filled sounds onto the planet, out to the Gaia matrix for planetary healing. What a blessing.
And the last component of this experience is after we have gone into the meditation and the humming, and we will then be in silence. And we do like to talk about silence because it is a very important aspect of working with sound. Because after we have vocalized and done our self-created sounds, then being in silence, that is where the shifts and the changes actually occur. And I always like to talk about silence as such an important thing because that is where we listen within and we hear our inner wisdom and get our inner guidance. So at the end of our meditation, we will then be in silence. And of course, then we'll be coming back and Jonathan and I will conclude our program.
And I like to say, Andi, that silence is the yin to the yang of sound. So there's this great balance we're creating through basically working with our consciousness, encoding and making the sound, and then being in silence and resonating there. It's going to be a wonderful experience. So I like to say, bon voyage.
And before we bon voyage, let me just give you a few little tips here. First of all, close your eyes because that sound is going to be more powerful with your eyes closed. I'm going to ask that you sit up with your back straight if possible. And also as you are humming and working with your sound, and don't forget about your breathing, very important, but you want to stay in your comfort zone. Louder is not better. We don't have to strain in any way, just allowing the sounds to come through in a very inner comforting way, I would say.
Nice. Thank you, Andi.
So I think we can all sit up nice and straight and close our eyes, and we are ready to take you onto and into this global guided humming experience.
Bon voyage.
The purpose for this meditation is to project a sound encoded with the energies of light and love and project healing to the Gaia Matrix, our beloved planet Earth. We will first create coherence between our heart and our brain. This effect will further be amplified by the power of the hum that you will be toning along with later, bringing more light and love into your body, mind, and spirit for health and wellness. And now, begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly breathing in and out. And as you're breathing in and out, imagine or visualize that you're breathing in and out through your heart. As you're breathing in and out through the area of your heart, remembering that it is love that breathes each breath. And it is love that causes each beat of our heart. Continue breathing slowly, breathing in and out in this manner. And now, I'd like you to call to mind something that has brought you a great deal of appreciation, gratitude, something that you are feeling very good about. This might be an experience with another person. Perhaps it's a beautiful sunset. It may be a beloved pet, a spouse. But it is something that has brought you loving kindness and gratitude and appreciation. And as you're breathing in and out through your heart, feeling this appreciation, feeling this gratitude, you're creating a beautiful coherence between your heart and your brain. And your heart, through this coherence, is expanding, getting larger and larger, and connecting with all the heart and loving energy on our planet in this moment. This is just a wonderful way of creating a very powerful heart activation, and you'll be amplifying this with the sound of the hum. Continue breathing slowly and deeply while feeling appreciation and gratitude, and imagining your breath going in and out through your heart. Now, visualize this energy and begin to sense a radiant light around you that is permeating every cell of your body and resonating your heart chakra. In a moment, we'll begin to gently sound forth together. And as you do this, visualize the planet Earth as a holographic image floating in front of you. Imagine bathing the Earth in a healing field of light and love that you are creating through your sacred sound. Now, let us begin to make the sound of the hum together, bringing the energy of global harmonization, peace, and healing to our beloved planet, Earth. one last time. Now, being in silence, visualizing all the light and love through sound that you have manifested, resonating and bringing to earth and yourself to a deep state of healing. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and know that you have contributed to personal and planetary healing.
That was a very powerful experience for me, and I trust that it was for you too. Thank you for letting us share this opportunity of using sound and consciousness for personal and planetary healing. Andi, how was that for you?
Jonathan, that was a lovely, lovely experience. And my hope is that many of our listeners and participants also had a lovely experience, a healing experience on some level. I know for myself right now, I feel a sense of inner peace and balance. And so I hope that possibly many of you felt similarly.
And how extraordinary that we can literally project healing sounds, not only for ourselves, but our planet. Once again, it is a blessing, and we give thanks. Before we leave, we want to invite you to our website, healingsounds.com.
Come visit us. We have a lot of sound healing educational material. We have free downloads where you can download exercises to start working with your own sounds. And of course, we have a plethora of healing sounds tools. So do come visit us when you have a moment.
It's a great place to go. So as we depart from you right now, we want to thank you again for resonating with us. And we want to send you blessings of love and light through sound. Remember,
with our love, our light, and our sound, we have a choice.
we can make a difference.
And remember, we heal ourselves.
We heal the planet.
We heal the planet.
And we heal ourselves.
Blessings to all.